And a hearty welcome on a Friday afternoon from the Between Two Wheels podcast. This is Tyler Yonke. Today we're going to talk about a few races. Look, is there a lot of excitement going on? Maybe. We're going to talk about the Banana Peel or Vamsa Peel. Shocking winner there. Cavendish, he goes off at, wait for it, Tour of Turkey. We'll look at that a little bit more. Some Spanish racing, ride of the week. Ardennes Classics are coming up, and some Masters dude blows up the inn. WADA, anti-doping substance abuse list in amazing style. I think we'll start there. Welcome, everybody, to the Between Two Wheels podcast. And I think we've already got some people joining in. Mark Tucker says, oh, yeah. Mark, you've had some interesting videos of late. Way to keep the rubber side down on the last one. I was going to take your video of you going over the shoulder or the head first into the crowd or into the dirt on your off-road bike, but maybe we'll save that for later. Anyway, everybody, I hope everyone can hear us fine. And we're doing broadcasting out there. It's April 15, 2021, 233rd episode of the Between Two Wheels podcast. Let's start with this doper extraordinaire. And you saw it. And actually we have, for those of you joining in early, you're going to have a sneak preview of and hopefully this works here. I have a new computer. We're hoping to do today, but a sneak preview of the actual some news footage going on. Let's start with it right here.
In response to what its sponsors claim is an idea whose time has come, the first all-drug Olympics opened today in Bogota, Colombia. Athletes are allowed to take any substance whatsoever before, after, and even during the competition. So far, 115 world records have been shattered. We go now to correspondent Kevin Nealon live in Bogota for the weightlifting finals. Kevin.
Dennis, getting ready to lift now is Sergei Akhmudov of the Soviet Union. His trainer has told me that he's taken anabolic steroids, Novocaine, NyQuil, Darvon, and some sort of fish paralyzer. Also, I believe he's had several cocktails within the last hour or so. All of this, of course, is perfectly legal at the all-drug Olympics. In fact, it's encouraged. Akhmudov is getting set now. He's going for a clean and jerk of over 1,500 pounds, which would triple the existing world record. That's an awful lot of weight, Dennis, and here he goes.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, he's pulled his arms off. He's pulled his arms off. That's got to be disappointing to the big Russian. You know, you hate to see something like this happen, Dennis. He probably doesn't have that much pain right now, but I think tomorrow he's really going to feel that, Dennis. Back to you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Shocking from the world of sport. We have a breaking news story right there. You saw it. You saw what happens to Masters champions that take on the world of doping. And I thought we'd maybe look. I love that clip from Saturday Night Live. A good show of Dennis Miller and Kevin Nealon. But maybe we'll take a look at the actual issue that came up. I guess it's once again it's another person from California breaking all the rules. And let's see if we get this. Nope, I'm not able to share it. Well, anyway, USADA busts Masters racer for 10 banned drugs. Bahi Aviazana Zion, I can't pronounce that, except 4-year suspension after caught with anabolic agents, growth hormones, and other prohibitive substances. A 52-year-old Masters racer from California has accepted a 4-year ban for possession and use and or attempted use of 10 different banned prohibited substances, including anabolic steroids, growth hormones. U.S. Anti-Doping Agency announced Thursday that Avazian's 4-year period of ineligibility will give on April 7, 2021. He mostly races downhill and endurance mountain bikes. It's a little old, isn't it, to be doing downhill and endurance downhill stuff like that? Either way, initially contested his case through arbitration process, but later elected to sign an acceptance of his results obtained or subsequent to June 16, 2010, in which is the date on which he first used. Damn, he's been doing this for 11 years. has been disqualified, including forfeiture of any medals, points, according to USADA. Anti-doping program enables, let's see, investigations stemming from various sources, including tips under the Play Clean tip line and whistleblowers. It was through this program that USADA initially determined that Bastogne had purchased products containing 5 different Let's see if we could take a look here at this. And why is it not allowing me to share? I don't know. I have a new computer. I got some issues here. Testosterone, nandrolone, dihydropianotestosterone, that's DHEA, somatropin, HGH, ipamorelin, a non-specified substance in the class of peptide hormones, growth factors, related substances, and mimics, GHRP6, CJC 1295, IGF-1, human chorionic gonadotropin, and astrolazole. I need to maybe get a doctor in here to help us with this. All 10 substances are prohibited under USADA protocol for Olympic and Paralympic movement. I don't know, why am I going over this? Well, partly, let's see what Travis Tigard has to say. This is an essential part of the effective of an anti-doping program is to work closely with athletes, coaches, and others in the sport and elsewhere who want clean and fair competition and thoroughly investigate and act on credible evidence of doping violations. It's a team effort. We need those who value clean sport to stand up, as this case demonstrates. The fight for clean sport is stronger when we work together to protect clean athletes. Well, either way, that's a little going after a 52-year-old. I don't have any problem going. I mean, this guy is not only is he a grave offender, but good Lord, that's quite the list. 10 different ones. Who out there has done any of those, let alone 10 of them? I shouldn't be calling for answers for that. Anyway, California, I think we're up number 1 on the list for doping violations, at least in masters. So, hey, kudos to us. And hope you keep it going, California. All right, let's talk about this. Brabant's appeal. I call it banana peel because it's much easier to thank you for what's up. Yes, thank you. And anybody else in here? Mark Tucker said, oh, yeah, glad to have you guys all joining in. And please, in the comment section, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook. I think we're also on Twitter and Periscope there. So you can join in, make any comments. We'll throw them up if you have questions for us. This isn't going to be a big show today. We're just going to go over some racing, talk about some of these things. Look, Ruth Widner ended up beating Vollering on the line. I don't know if you can see that on the screen there. I thought I won this sprint. Apparently not. Photo finish leaves Demi Vollering regretting finish line celebration. So you can see the closest bike to us. That's Demi Vollering. She's got her hand there. She's already doing a fist pump. Ruth Widner with the bike throw at the line. It's hard to tell from this angle, but closer inspection, the photo line finish photograph, U.S. champion Widner was awarded the win by margin of millimeters. So it's hard to tell on the first one on the left here, but on the right, you can see that she clearly had it by just barely. Hey, you know, we talk about this. Gotta love a win by Ruth. Yes, that's true. Chris Flowers says, what's the finish line in that pick? Is it the start of the line, the white line, the black line, or... Right. It's whatever one that the officials want to use. I think they have an official line that they're using, Chris. I don't know what it is pointed out to us, but I think it's the last line that they show in this Twitter pic here. Speaking after the stage, Dutch rider Vollering said, I am very disappointed. I had the feeling that I won this sprint. Apparently not. I don't know if it was the jump, but it was also impossible to see in the picture. She added, during the race, I thought something is going to happen, so I have to stay ahead. Glad we could stay away. Every climb, I set the pace high with the group and tried to set out a good cooperation with the other girls. I'm glad it worked out. Well, it didn't work out for you. The results sparked plenty of debate on social media as fans pointing out Vollering may have taken the victory if she had thrown her bike rather than raising her hand in celebration. Yes, that's always the way to do it. Another comment here, black line in white. Okay. Dean App, haven't heard from you before. Welcome to the show. And the farthest side of the black line. Yes, I believe that's, she said, I'm an idiot. Well, yes. So look, it can happen to the best of us, right? We just saw Alaphilippe. Look, we're having Liege, Bastogne, Liege coming up a week from Sunday. And that was famously last year, Alaphilippe doing a pump in the air after he had about crashed out Mark Hirschi and Roglic and Pogacar. He ends up thinking he's got the win easily. Roglic does a bike throw and gets him on the line. We love that. We just saw our own Mike Sayers do that at the race down there in Chowchilla. Didn't come back to bite him as much because there was a split field, but we all understand those things are. Has that happened to you? Anybody here lately? Not me. I'm pretty much not in the world of having to do any fist pumps for bike finishes. Okay, so I thought we'd do breakout Brabant's Appeal on the men's side. There's a short little video we'll play here and talk about it. And as we walk through, to give the highlights of what it is, and I'll walk our way through. Let me see. Ruth had, and Volarain was pulling her back. Yeah, well, obviously, because she thinks she had it at the line, but ended up getting beat out. So that's obviously what happened, and good for her. I think she's a NorCal person, so we're always glad to see that. Let's see, resume highlights. Okay, let's check this out. Do a little play of this one. Not going to have any volume for you because it's going to be me talking about it. It's the way we kind of get around some of the strikes here. So Brabant's Appeal, good weather. Started in the morning, as you can see, a little foggy, I guess a little cloudy. Guys fist pumping on the line. And who did you think you're going to have here? Well, as you do with any of these classics, midweek classics, a little bad weather, you're going to expect DeQuinty Quickstep to come out firing. And it looks like a little cool stage on the day. Big wreck here, 38K to go. This one was significant because it took out a bunch of, as you can see, the Total Direct Energy. It took out some EF education riders, but more importantly, it took out DeQuinty Quickstep riders. And they're going to break down. Seneschal gets taken out of here. And look, 37K to go. The race is on. You're going to have Trentin up front. You're going to have Wout. And you can see the race here. It's hard to tell there, but an EF guy goes down. He got taken out by an Ineos rider's back wheel that was cutting over to his right. And then it's just a cascading effect of crashing. Okay. Coming up here, Consafoy hits the climb of the Holstein. Got Trentin with him. Wout. You got a bunch of people. Way in the back there is Tom Pidcock, though. It looks like he's suffering a bit. He comes good. Spoiler alert, he ends up doing quite well in this race. Wout van Aert, though, does he do too much work early on like normal? Pidcock says later on that he was pulling super hard. He being Wout was pulling super hard, perhaps too hard. 28K here. You've got Trentin taking off, and he's been looking really good for UAE. Now, there's no real concerted. You got a DeQuinty Quickstep rider back there, but no real team cohesive. Is it Stefan Kung is also there? I'm not sure about him and who the victorious rider is. Maybe someone can chime in on that, on the Bahrain Merida team. However, you don't have a good cohesive chase going on. There's just a mixed bag. 16K, this is where it really hits. Look at Tom Pidcock with Wout on his wheels, and Eid Schilling is trying to hold on here behind the Bora rider. You get into DeQuinty Quickstep riders going on there. The Trek rider are Tom Squeens and Seneschal can't do. I think that's who that. I'm not sure who the DeQuinty Quickstep rider is. Either way, Pidcock comes up, flicks his elbow. You got 16. Remember, Trentin is up the front here, off the road. He does a smart thing and just sits up a little bit and says, "Sure, a much better chance with these two coming together." Now you've got a break of maybe 8 riders or so. There's a big pack behind them. You got like 3 different groups. And then the group right behind them, though, is actually split into 2. You end up getting a 3 here and an 8 and a 6 or so there. When they come together, as you can see, 11K to go, there's only like 13 seconds. And these 3 guys are going 3 wide around on this steep climb. They're playing a little cat and mouse, but putting the hammer down. Wout with a big dig here. This climb then ends up getting them a little bit more of a lead. And they ended up getting about 30 seconds or so coming into the climb. Now it's got this circuit that they end up doing, about 20-some K. Trentin had been out front alone. They rang the bell. They got another lap to go. Squeens, Eid Schilling, several people from behind not really being able to close it down. Although this is where they came. Consafoy comes very close to getting the finish here as far as catching them. But these 2 groups end up being the little split here. And when they actually come together, it makes it worse because I think they're expecting everyone else to ride. When these guys are almost caught on and they're pushing hard, they would almost have brought the group back together. Now, you want to do someone to really break this down and tell you how everyone did wrong, go to Chris Horner's his YouTube page, The Butterfly Effect, and he'll talk easily about now, like they had like almost 20, 30 seconds here. They're playing the cat and mouse so much that Concefoy almost catches them 200 or so out there. Wout hits the front and you're expecting him to win. Trentin says, nope, not for me. Tom Pidcock with a kick, becoming the first British rider to win the banana peel, slips and falls for Wout van Aert. And the previous best finish for a British rider, I think, was Max Chiandri, and I think it was 6th place quite some time ago. So good for him. Quite impressive. And did you expect to see Tom Pidcock with the win like that? I didn't expect to see that. But I did it. It wasn't a surprise that Pidcock was up there in front and doing a great job, because he's been, ever since he won the Baby Giro last year, and you've seen him doing well with Wout and Mathieu van der Poel in cross races. Matter of fact, he won one of the early season ones and then was just a third all the way, the rest of the way. He has been somewhat of a stalwart in all these classics races early on, but then to see him sprint over the top, that was pretty incredible. Okay, Huntington says Pidcock should not be underestimated. Let's put it on the screen. Should not be underestimated for 1 day, but sure, he can handle a 3-week stage race. Well, he's a Neo Pro. I don't know that we're worried about him doing that yet. Chris had me in stitches again. Yes, Chris Horner, you guys should collab. Oh yeah, I've got a few hundred followers here. He's got a few thousand. He's Chris Horner. I'm Tyler. I'd be glad to collab with him. I'd like to actually interview him, and a few things I'd like to talk to him about. And it wouldn't be rider number 13. I think you got to stay away from that, really. And at this point, you just kind of let it go. Okay, so Brabant's Appeal, pretty happy with the outcome there. Tom Pidcock, Ineos, his rider early on, remember, was the one that caused that big crash. I think that was team tactics. They played it well. They ended up getting being able to take out DeCoiney Quickstep, who was not a factor in this race. Huntington, thank you for continuing to comment. I think Tom has an amazing motor and endurance. I think he is a classic big dog. I think so too. He's going to end up being, well, first of all, what he did in the Baby Giro last year, if you even followed along on that, it was very impressive. That's why, you get a team like Ineos being willing to grab onto him early season here. It's just now. So he's got a lot going for him. Okay. Brabant's Appeal. Let's go over the full results. Tom Pidcock first, Wout van Aert second, Matteo Trentin, and then I'm just going to read off some of the lessers. That was Dylan Toynes that was up there with Bahrain. There you go. Ide Schilling for Bora, Tom Squeens for Trek, Robert Stannard of Team Bike Exchange, and they had Michael Matthews, who had been in that big wreck, so he wasn't able to go with anything else. But Concefoy, Dylan Toynes, Oscar Riesbeck, and that was it for the DSM rider was Andreas Leknusund. All right. How about the Tour of Turkey? So look, we came out first stage of the Tour of Turkey. I think it had been canceled or at least shortened due to some bad weather. Then the first stage was won by Team Rally, who Chris had sent me an info saying that they are no longer, they bowing out of the Tour of Turkey because they're all COVID positive. But their team rider, Arvid Dekleen, won on stage 1 over Christopher Halverson and Pierre Barbieri. And then Mark Cavendish was 4th over Jesper Philipsen. Now, Jesper Philipsen had won Skill de Press over Bennett and Cavendish. So you're like, oh, look, he can sprint pretty good. So this field isn't necessarily super, but it's not necessarily bad either, because you have Greipel, Cavendish, and Philipsen. Now, with that said, Cavendish is there with DeCoiney Quickstep. They could, and then you look at this field, they could pretty much manhandle almost any team they want to as far as the lead out goes, put Cavendish in good position, and he starts to win. And he ends up winning stage 2. And then he goes on a trifecta. Stage 2 over Philipsen. Stage 3, and Greipel's in 3rd there. Stage 3 over Philipsen with Stanislaus Anitilauski and Christopher Halverson. Greipel's down in 5th. And then stage 4, you also had it again with Cavendish getting a 3-peat over Philipsen. So he's getting the best of Philipsen and all of these. But look, that the overall, it's not something like I'm it's probably heresy for me to actually say it this way, but he's not that winning in such incredible style. Now, when he wins 3 in a row, it does say something because he's able to kick. He's able to do what he needs to. Let's get some more of these comments here. I think Tom has an amazing motor and endurance. I think he's a big, yes, we already read that one. My bad. Brian Zimney chimes in. Pigcock size seems better for the Ardennes Classics. Those are coming up, and we will have a good indication of that this weekend. Stage 4, then you had stage 5 of Tour of Turkey. That's one we actually had to climb. And I just wanted to point out here. So when I talk about Cavendish, right, it's maybe heresy. You might think it's heresy for me to not be all up in arms and excited about his win, that he's back in full force. Yes, what he did to Schilderpress showed us that he's at least near that. Winning 3 stages here is impressive in its own right. But if you're not winning these stages, who is? Well, Philipsen and or Greipel. Greipel hasn't shown that he's been able to do much of anything in the last several years as well. And then there's nobody. I mean, Raleigh's on the podium, day 1, and they're close to it every day here in the sprinting as well. No offense, but that's not quite the same thing. It's first day in the mountains. You have a nice kicking climb up here to the finish. And once again, rider for Team Delco, Jose Manuel Diaz. Now, that's certainly an impressive win for him, but it's also Team AC Delco. Am I belittling this field just a little bit to knock Cavendish down? Yeah. Probably am. Jay Vine, I think Alpecin Phoenix. Now, Alpecin Phoenix has been coming up all year. They've been knocking at the door and doing well. But I think he was a rider that had got a contract through a Zwift challenge thing. Gavin Mannion down there in 11th place. Looking pretty good for him. I think this is today's stage. Jasper Philipsen over Greipel and Christopher Halverson. This one was actually, there was a pretty nasty wreck in there. Halverson actually, and Cavendish ends up getting 4th. There's a wreck right along the barrier. We have a rider from Wildlife Generation that's out there, an American that went down. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Remember, we had talked to Jason Saltzman. He rides for that team. That team's been, I don't think he's at the Tour of Turkey, but they've been given a chance to race in this and play against some of the big boys. And Jasper Philipsen ends up getting the win there. And there was a nasty wreck right against the barriers. And then tomorrow's stage, we got a little bit more climbing, and then we'll finish that up on the weekend. Now, the ride, the guys crashed along the barrier. It looks like it was kind of a wreck as you're going down the road, a wreck kind of in the middle that spilled out into the side, and guys trashed into the barrier. It had somewhat of a reminiscence of the Tour of Poland finish, which Jakobsen that we saw with Groenewegen a while ago, which didn't look very good. In other words, the barrier just disintegrated. I don't think the damage to these riders was as bad as what we had there. Obviously, that they didn't. I don't think we have the ramifications because Lefevre hasn't requested to have anybody sued or damaged on that as of yet. But other than that, everything's going just fine. So Tour of Turkey, is Cavendish going to end up getting a last win on? I don't think he could get it on tomorrow's stage because it's somewhat mountainous. And then stage 8's got a little bump in it, and he might be able to have a chance there, but possibly not. We'll see what can happen. There's another race, Volta al Comentat, Valencia, and that's happening in Spain right now. I don't know if we're going to go over any of those results, except for Enric Mas ended up winning today. It's in Damar won yesterday, and it's a race that typically happens right before the classics. So typically you're getting a little bit more action and riders, some bigger riders. And last year, how do we go off of anything more than last year where we were just getting big time riders doing every single Tour of Piedmont? I don't know why I bring that one up, but that's when Bennett won, George Bennett. And you just had everybody in there that you could possibly do because riders were trying to get as many big races as they possibly could. Okay. Well, coming up, we have the Ardennes, and we've got Amstel Gold this Sunday, and then next Wednesday we have La Flèche Wallonne, and then we have Liege, Bastogne, Liege a week from Sunday. So maybe we'll just take a look at those races, give a little idea of who's doing those, and maybe give some winners here. So what I do like to see is right away there's a good contingent of some of the top competitors. And it's the people that you would want to see in a race like this, right? Top competitors, Roglic, Wout van Aert, Richard Carapaz, Alejandro Valverde, Guillaume Martin, Jakob Fulsang, Julian Alaphilippe, Florent Seneschal, Mark Hirschi, Greg Van Avermaet. I mean, to me, that's already quite a nice little smattering of people. Roglic, first of all, I like to see when any of the main GC riders come out and they, they're looking for a chance to get in the winner's circle on a classic here. So you got the 3 races, the Amstel Gold. Let's see if we can find the actual. I don't think I'm finding the profile. There it is. So if we saw Brabant's Appeal, by the way, it was like 27 climbs, which is pretty horrific, but it's just short, punchy. It's a little bit more like what you have here at the Amstel Gold. I think it just ramps up itself a little bit with La Flèche Wallonne, which has the steep kicker at the finish, and then Liege, Bastogne, Liege, which you typically see a little bit more of a mix of a Grand Tour rider that's going to end up winning that one. So who's your pick for this? I don't know. This one's probably a little bit more on the Wout. It's been really interesting to see Wout and Van der Poel losing sprint finishes when they should not be, such as against Pidcock. That shouldn't have happened. And then you saw Matthew Van der Poel losing to Asgreen a few weeks ago. Mark Tucker joining in this one. Okay, Mark Tucker, I do appreciate this because it deviates a little bit from just normal talk here. Kentua Creek Road Race, May 29, and the Copperopolis Road Race, June 5, have both been permitted by the USAC and the respective counties. Registration will be open April 19th. Thanks, Bella Promo. Yes, that's really good news. Mark has been down south and did a race down there in Ontario. Same Legion has been kind of going back and forth. So we're getting into some more races here. Mark's own team is putting on another race in May, first part of May. I know Sky Martinez is doing those races out in Livermore. I know there's an issue with licensing or permitting, but if your only holdup is getting upgrade points, I don't know what to tell you. How many races are you going to do this year? Really? You think you're going to even upgrade this year? Okay. Anyway, thanks, Mark, for that. So let's take a look then at La Flèche Wallonne. Flèche Wallonne comes up on Wednesday. This is a great midweek race because, and once again, you're getting the similar. I think Mark Hirschi won this one last year. This is an Alaphilippe type of race. It's also Valverde has won it over and over several years ago. So your top competitors, once again, Valverde is there. Roglic, Pogacar, Carapaz, Valverde, Guillaume Martin, Fulsang, Alaphilippe, Yates, Hirschi, Tao Geoghegan. Tail's been kind of waned somewhat this end of this season. Mark Hirschi, who came on strong last year, we saw him in the Tour de France win a stage or two. We saw him come close in World Championships. Then we saw him win Flèche Wallonne. And then coming in, close. Was he in close? Yeah, Liege, Bastogne, Liege. We saw him there battling for the finish as well. This year, we haven't seen much of him. We saw him kind of screwing his team over. I think UAE did not help them much last week with the Tour of the Basque Country, but at least we're starting to see him up in front a little bit more. Back to live racing comments here. Chris Flower says Livermore is moving back to USAC. I can't keep up, people. I don't know what happened there. So back to USAC. If that's the case, then there's your upgrade points. Copperopolis should be banned by UN for human cruelty. Yeah, that's true. It's quite the nasty little race, but so are a lot of those. Mark Tucker, not this one. The next one is Chris. I don't know what that means, but thanks for whatever you're saying there. Is the circuit, here we go. Is the circuit around the town square? Oh, that's what he's probably referring to. Thank you, guys. Back to which one is this? Which one? La Flèche Wallonne. What I love about that one, that goes up the Mur de Huy at the end there, and you're trying to. That's the one I think famously Dan Martin, did he crash right at the bottom there? It's been pretty spectacular. You come in, it's just around a K, inside a K, and everyone's hitting that hard, and then the punch over the top, and it's gauging everything for that with 193 kilometers, and you had 191 of them basically, or 191.6 or so, 192.6 or so, all preparing for this one time up the last time at least up the Mur de Huy, and that's where all S hits the fan. Last one we'll talk about, and then we'll probably do a bigger breakdown of this one next week, is Liege, Bastogne, Liege. This is the one that you have a little bit more of the big riders, the riders that you would have for the Tour as a grand Tour type of competitors. And I don't know why we're not be able to get the overall here. Top competitors doesn't have those listed, but full saying as an example. This is the women's one. That's why. Let's take a look at that. Annemiek van Vleuten, Ashley Moolman, Christabel Dobel Hickok. Who is that? Rally Rider. She's number 3. Sarah Poitevin, Justine Kierkeer, Kelly Van de Steen, Moon Pook. Fairly good smattering of riders there. And, you know, the women's races should be exciting as well. I don't know who we're going to look for that. I would like to see Jacob Fullsong actually get a chance to put a stake in Liege again. Liege has been one that Mike Woods up until, did he get injured yet again? Yes, I think his Pyrenees crashed out on. I don't know what his status is, but he's been close to the last several years. He's put himself in a good position. Missed out with Jacob Fullsong when he ended up winning. He could have gone with that move. Actually, it wasn't him. One of those riders on the team. And he's missed out again last year. And I don't even know if he's doing the race this year, but you're always going to get Roglic, Pogacar, and whoever else is coming out firing. You know, you should start seeing those guys ready for the Vuelta. The Giro now, and possibly be ready for the Tour. They're getting in there. You know, Roglic is seemingly ready to go all time. Okay, let's see what Fletch, no one. Let's talk Livermore. April 18th is Nabra, and April 25th is USAC. Okay, that's good to know, Chris. Got to go, boys. Cheers. Thanks, Tyler. Yes, thanks for coming on. Another thing, Mark Tucker says virtual NCNCA board meeting Monday. I should cover it. I have other things going on Monday. Virtual. Okay, if you send me a link, I will at least do it. Brian Zimney, I wonder how the chip seal is at Copperopolis. Last few years, everyone came away with tar, gravel all over their bikes and bodies. Well, that's a good reason not to be doing it. MVP, Matthew Vanderpool is pissed. Legs are going to burn. Yes. I don't know who these guys are going to race and how they're going to do, but I'm pretty excited about at least the weekend, the first race that we have going on here. Let's go through some of these news items real quick because they actually have it's a good chance that they have something I actually want to check out, which is Richardson was disqualified from the Tour of Turkey for arms on bars position. So in the Tour of Turkey, you know, they'll DQ you for actually not having your arms on the bars, but they're not going to do anything about the finish. You know, the crazy crash that everyone just had. I mean, that seems a little bit much. Let's take a look and see if we could find out. They have a picture here of him arms actually over the bars. Maybe so. There you go. So if you're able to see this, he actually puts his arms over the bars, but he's holding the brakes. Now, is that going to here? How's that for the interpretation of the new UCI rules? Alex Richardson pushing the new regulations to the limit at the Tour of Turkey. Tune into GCN. Okay, so GCN, it looks like they might have outed him. And the UCI states using the forearms as a point of support on the handlebar is prohibited. However, going headfirst into the barriers, we're kind of okay with that. One other item here: Jacobson's consoles Tour of Turkey crash victim Granigan. So Granigan was the American rider that. Let's see if we have this one up here. No, we don't. The American rider for Wildlife Generation that had a nasty crash. American not seriously injured in pileup. Not seriously injured in pileup, reminiscent of Dutch rider's Tour of Poland incident. Fabio Jakobsen showed his class and strength of character after a massive pileup disrupted stage 4 of the presidential Tour of Turkey on Wednesday. Between the crash and celebrating with Deceuninck Quick-Step teammate Mark Cavendish, who won the third straight stage, Jakobsen stopped to give an encouraging fist bump with Noah Granigan, Wildlife Generation Pro Cycling, who was injured in the fall. The massive crash came only 200 meters to go in the camera when there was a touch of wheels near the front of the peloton and the riders crashed the entire finishing. Yeah, they popped over and into the actual barriers. And I think I was showing the wrong show there, or the wrong news story. Last thing we have here, Legion of LA turns head with co-ed team win at the Majestic Crit. So one thing I thought was maybe good with this actual news story is that, you know, there's problems with we've been having with and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to copy this over here. The problems we've been having with issues of transgender and having, whether we're going to prohibit certain people from racing, and are the transgenders going to mix in with women, and that whole issue there. Maybe this is the solution, and the solution could actually be that we just have open categories. Legion of LA of Los Angeles turns head with co-ed team in win in Majestic Creek, coming back up for air after being underwater, says Skylar Schneider, after the team returned. Okay, so the team went and did a race, and they had well, look, this isn't really okay, it's cool, it's a news story, but is it really a news story? And we have this all the time out here. Women pros or cat 1s, cat 2s, they join in the men's category all the time. What I would like to have seen, and hat tip to someone who requested this for me, was putting the camera on her bike. Put the camera on her bike, and we'd be able to see what she's doing. Come on, Legion of LA. This is a valuable chance you missed here. It was a valuable learning experience to see and experience firsthand how one of the most successful criterium racing teams ever operates before, during, and after a race to ensure that they are at the top of their game. Schneider finished the race 81st out of 114 riders, but her Legion of LA teammates finished in the top 2 spots. Justin Williams securing the sprint ahead of Corey, the brothers who founded the domestic. I felt so incredible to be on the start line next to Justin Williams. Nonetheless, again, my teammates did a good job looking out for me in the peloton, but there were still quite a few times where guys would come up and try taking me off the Legion train, which I did not let them do, of course. Well, good. That's exactly what your position and job are there for. So once again, if you had a camera, we'd be able to check that out and see exactly how well you did your job. And not a problem there. How about ride of the week? Let's take a look here. Sean Bagley is joining in on the conversation. She rode sweeper on Justin's wheel at 35 miles an hour until battle up. It was incredibly impressive. Well, why don't we give her, once again, that would be a good place to put a camera. And we can actually, maybe if you were on her wheel, Sean, we'd be able to see exactly what happened there. Mark Tucker says, hey, I finished 51st in that one. Well, good. You beat the female pro by about 30 positions. So well done. Were you playing sweeper as well? I don't know. That's pretty much all we have for today, folks. And I appreciate you joining in. Have a good weekend. It was a quick show today. We have a lot to do. I've got work. And got to go ride my bike one more time. It's going to be nice weather. Sean Bagley gave a laugh. Yes. How did you guys do out there? I think you guys, I saw someone on the podium, Sean. I think you were up there. So congrats for that. I will check out. Sean's been having some videos. Mark Tucker's been having some videos. So we'll be doing that. I just got a new computer so I could finally start shredding through some of my video, cutting it for some of the races that we've done, show some stuff out there. Nothing dramatic from my side, but just show the racing. Which, is what we want to do. I want to take a look and promote the sport from within. Are you going to be able to go out to the race this weekend? Me personally, I've got some family things, so I am precluded from doing so. But if you do, to go out to the one in Livermore, I guess it's USAC sanctioned now. No excuses. Guys can go out there and get their upgrade points. If you do, go ahead and let me know how it goes. Mark Tucker, maybe send me a link to that virtual NCNCA board meeting, and I will take a look. Thanks, everybody, and have a great weekend. Out.